Hey everyone, and we are back to our hydrangea chat. So this is third one?
Yes, third one.
And we are going to talk about the Macrophylla hydrangeas.
Yes.
So, yeah, those are like, I think, the most popular, I would say.
Yeah, big leaf hydrangeas.
Mopheads.
Mopheads,
So I call
yes.
them mopheads.
Same categories. Probably one of the most popular hydrangeas. And sometimes, I wouldn't say the most difficult, but probably the most maybe confusing as how to grow them and how to care for them.
Yeah, because I think it's all the same because of the lighting
Yeah.
and also the pruning.
Yes.
I think that's... And also changing the color. I think
Yeah.
all of...
Pretty much the same thing for every
Yeah.
hydrangea.
So, okay, we are going to start talking about Let's Dance Rave
Yes.
hydrangea. So this spring we went ahead and added a lot more hydrangeas to our back garden, which is, you know, we call it the secret garden.
Yep.
But there are two that have been here since the spring before, which is Rave hydrangea.
Yeah.
Let's Dance Rave hydrangea. And the reason I went with Let's Dance Rave hydrangea is because it's more of a compact hydrangea. And once again, we're going to mention small garden we're working in. And also because it changes color into a more of a purple, lavender
Yes.
purple. So I haven't played around with it yet.
No, we haven't, no.
I was going to this year. And
Yeah,
then I thought about it. I was like, I don't know. I kind of like the pink so
yeah,
much.
so we didn't mess with the color at all because the pink was beautiful. I know last year when we planted it, that pink was just amazing. And I think I wanted to see that again because of kind of with the setup that we went with. And I think a lot of the other stuff that we kind of mingled in the garden as well. We went with the pink. We stayed with the pink. We decided not to change it to
Yeah.
blue. But like Angie was saying, with most of these hydrangeas, you can change the color from a pink color to a more bluish. And this one does
it
a
can
more...
also do blue.
It does a lavender color. And that's
More
with
of
a
a
little
blue.
bit, you know, that's with a little bit more of an acidic soil. Now in neutral soils, you're going to get that pink and that very vibrant pink, not just any pink. It's a beautiful pink.
Yeah. So another thing that I love about Rave so much is, of course, you know, it goes crazy blooming. It's full of buds. But I also love the foliage so much.
Yes.
And, you know, we did bring in varieties of proving winners. And a reason why we did that is because we've grown other varieties, but I wanted to go with something that was going to be a lot more healthier. And because of our experience growing a lot of proving winners plants, that's why we decided to go the route of just bringing in a bunch of proving winners
Yes.
varieties of hydrangeas. So what I've noticed a lot is we live in a very humid climate here in Virginia, Zone 7B. It rains a lot.
Yes.
And you know, we've been in other places where it rains too, and we've had hydrangeas as well, mopheads, but the foliage is very unattractive. Right away, you start getting that spotting
Yep.
because of the humidity, the climate. It doesn't look pretty, and we haven't had that problem with these at all. And it rains a lot here.
Yes. Yes.
It rains a lot, and I haven't seen that.
No, not at all. So like Angie was saying, a lot of the older varieties of Macrophylla hydrangeas, the big leaf hydrangeas, are going to very quickly show you when they're not healthy and they're not as resistant to disease. Now, these are very resistant to disease. That's how they've been bred, and they do
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. They're also very cold tolerant, like Angie was saying. A lot of those old Macrophylla hydrangeas, if you leave them out over winter, new buds that start to emerge in you know, late winter, early spring, and you get a cold snap, you very quickly see it freeze and die back.
Yes.
Now, with this one, I can tell you,
We put them to the test
because I was physically out here looking at them. I thought, oh man, we got some buds.
It's not that cold here,
Yeah.
but still, you know, when you start to see, you know, that the new buds emerging, and then, you know, in spring, all of a sudden you get that cold snap. You're like,
Yes.
let's go cover them. Let's go protect them. We went ahead and put them to the test,
Yes.
and to see, you know, what was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
They're blooming
Yeah,
like crazy.
they did absolutely wonderful. I thought we had some buds that froze off, and I was like, oh no, it's not gonna make it. But it
Yeah.
was completely opposite. They completely cracked open and started showing that green.
Yeah.
And did wonderful. I mean,
Another thing is the color of the bloom. They're very, very vibrant.
Yep.
And I'm really blown away with another that we will be showing you right now as well in that color. That I you know, the color is just so
Oh, yeah.
beautiful, and that's what I love. about the majority of the plants from this what is it, this brand, this plant brand that is, you know, Proving Winners. I do love we all love all types of plants. Don't get us wrong, but I want something that's really going to show off and look great in the garden. And I can't say anything else that I love the color. And I know a lot of y'all have been seeing the tours and have been asking us, how are y'all doing that where they have so much color? Why do they look so healthy? Yeah, it's the watering, the fertilizing, but it also has to do with the variety of plant that you're getting.
It has a lot to do with the variety of plant you're getting.
How it's been bred.
It does. With Proving Winners, just from our experiences, every plant that they cultivate, any plant that they sell, any plant that comes from Proving Winners, goes through a rigorous test before it's even put out for wholesale or retail or whatever the case is. They make sure that these plants are going to be up to par and do what they need to do. As such, with these hydrangeas, being that they're Macrophylla hydrangeas, your first thought is they bloom on old wood. Not the case with these. These are re-blooming hydrangeas as well. So that's something completely different when you talk about Macrophylla hydrangeas, is having them re-bloom throughout the season. And I'll put those pictures up there. We had our first initial bloom, and now you have a bunch of other little clusters that are starting to come up. And you don't see that a lot in Macrophylla hydrangeas. And it's just wonderful to be able to have a hydrangea that does that.
So on one of the past, hydrangea chats, I spoke about a hydrangea that crunch on me the flowers. So this has to do with the watering.
Yes.
So we had a little oopsie happen here. So we have them running through drip system.
Yes.
Most of them are on drip system, and the Rave ones are on drip system. And I did not know that day somehow the drip tubing had slipped out. So by the time I came out here, that intense morning sun hit it. It was hitting already, and it crunched them. You'll see on the pictures that that moment, just that small, little window of opportunity with the sun.
Yes.
They scorch. Our rule is all the time water super early.
Yep.
Super early before even the sun comes out, so they can really, take on that sun and they don't start stressing out. So unfortunately that happened, but they're reblooming hydrangeas, so I'm not that sad about it, because
again, we have some that are already coming up, and once they start to open, it's gonna fill out again, look like it never happened. And again, repeating it from the first and second video, because I said I would, is watering and mulch. Mulch is going to be your best friend when it comes to hydrangeas, whether it's in the ground or whether it's in a container. It's going to be your best friend, because like Angie said, that's the first thing we do is water in the morning. But sometimes you get those days where the temperature just spikes and it dries out, especially in containers, starts to dry out your soil. That mulch is going to be able to retain at least some water. Now your hydrangea might still wilt, but it's going to retain enough water to keep it from dying back completely.
It's not going to burn on you and shrivel.
Yeah, in this case, the tubing just completely fell out, so it did not get any water in the morning.
But, that's a great thing, that these hydrangeas are bred to be rebloomers. So, I'm not that sad about it, because we know that we're going to we're already seeing the other, more blooms shooting up. So that's what I'm so happy about. And we want to show you everything, not just the good and pretty part about it, but things happen all the time in the garden. So I think we're spending too much time on Rave.
Yeah, we have a couple more big leaf hydrangeas. Can they hear the birds, by the way? I mean, these guys are just going crazy out here.
They love it back here. They got super comfortable back here, and later you will probably start hearing the frogs too. Just love it. I love that.
The funny thing is, if we get too loud, the frogs get annoyed and start making
they're like, get
noises
out of here.
louder than us. But moving on, the next one we're going to talk about is which one?
Lighting. First of all, all of these hydrangeas are, same type of lighting, same type of thing that I've been telling y'all. You live up north. The more you live up north, cooler climates, the more sun they need. They say they need from 4 to 6 hours of light at least for them to start producing some, flowers, blooms. We live in zone 7B once again, so it is a warmer climate. If you have it past, noon, they're going to scorch on us here. So we make sure that they're only getting the morning sun and then that's it, which is probably 6 hours of full sun here in the mornings, and then that's it.
And we're in a zone 7B, and we have a perfect example that we'll talk about here about a hydrangea that does not get enough sun and is getting too much shade.
Let's go ahead and talk about that one, because that's another one that's been here with us since not this spring, but the past spring, last year, and those were the ones. If y'all ever got to see the video,
I can link that video up. It's gonna be Let's Dance Big Easy.
Big Easy.
Very beautiful pink hydrangea as well. Almost like Rave.
Yes, it's also a compact size hydrangea, and it starts blooming in a green, and then turns just beautiful, beautiful colors of pink, and then once again it starts having like these very pretty colors of green again. And the blooms of Big Easy are huge.
Yeah.
Huge. They were little babies when we got them, right?
Yeah.
They were what, in maybe gallon containers? I'm not sure.
It was in a gallon container when we got those.
They were little.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, the blooms were so huge. They were just getting bigger and bigger. So so okay, about that. What happened with those? Okay, so we had them on the side of the fence, and there's a video on that. Ambrose will go ahead and link it up there. And
last year they did amazing.
They did great. But I'm guessing there was more sun coming through or something. The tree also grew more.
Yeah.
So the weird thing is we have roses that are coming back to blooming on there too. So it just depends on the plant. I'm guessing they're way too low.
Yeah.
They were planted way too low. Either way, we had to bring out the beds from there because you will be seeing a white fence pretty soon. We're going to get a white fence. So we were told to remove everything from the sides, and we will be crazy actually tomorrow, removing all this, moving it into the garden.
By the time you see this hydrangea video, the fence will probably already be up.
We'll probably have a white fence. We'll see. We're trying to hurry up and do all the hydrangea videos before that happens. But anyways, we moved everything from there. We potted them up. We put them in containers, and I left them there through the whole time. I left them there. But I noticed everybody started to put on, getting ready to bloom, and those were not blooming. And I'm like, what happened? It's the lighting.
Yeah.
So we moved them in here. And we'll be showing you.
Yeah, I'll show you exactly what they look like.
I found places and snuck them in, and how they're reblooming hydrangeas. I have faith that
we'll get that second flush of blooms.
And that's going to be, I think, the fun part for all of us together to see that.
Yeah.
If they're going to bloom for us, I'm positive. I'm having positive vibes here. I feel that they will.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to a hydrangea that just got too much shade and not enough sun. So it's just it just depends on where you have that hydrangea, and our zone 7B again. I suggest having at least a good 4 hours of sun.
4 to 6 hours of morning sun, dapple light, but make sure that it's getting sun, because we had it under a tree.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened, being under a tree.
Yeah.
That really didn't let it get the sun it needed. They need the sun. No matter what zone you're in, they do need sun, at least in the morning. For hotter climates, try to see you have a place in the sun.
Yep. So
who's next?
What do we talk? So I do want to talk about. I'll let Angie save the last one because I know she loves that. I can see it from here. Beautiful blue blooms. But I want to talk about Starlight, because as I mentioned in a previous video, I wasn't a big fan of the lace cap hydrangeas, and when I saw Starlight at the nursery and looked at the photo and saw what it bloomed like.
Ooh.
Now, you may think it's a mountain hydrangea.
Getting windy.
Yeah, it's getting very windy. You might think it's a mountain hydrangea, but it's actually a Macrophylla hydrangea. It's just a lace cap variety. And Starlight is a beautiful hydrangea. I just love the way it grows. Looks just like a lace cap, open flowered as well. Attracts many, many pollinators.
Many.
And it's reblooming as well. Right now, it's in a blue-violet state.
Yes.
It's
gorgeous.
And just like the other Macrophyllas, you can change the color as well with more neutral soil. You're gonna get that pink bloom, and then with the more acidic soil, you're gonna get the blue blooms. When you buy these hydrangeas at a nursery or whatever the case is, just remember that the color that hydrangea blooms the first year is more than likely in whatever soil it's sitting in whenever you buy it in that container. So when you transplant it at home and put it in a container with regular soil, you might not get the same color. You might start seeing pink. So it just really depends on when you want to change that color and what it looks like that year. But Starlight is a very beautiful hydrangea. Absolutely
I'm
love
loving the shape, and I'm so glad that it doesn't have that, what is it, like that mounding shape like
Yeah.
all the other ones, because that's how we get to layer and
Yes.
play around with different shapes in the garden, and it looks more like a garden. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's
And-
a very young garden, so it helps a lot.
And with all these hydrangeas, they're all more compact hydrangeas. I think the biggest one we have is Starlight, which is going to be about 36 inches.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they all grow about 36 inches, huh?
Yeah.
So, unlike a lot of other macrophyllus that grow really, really huge, these grow about 36 inches. So when it comes to pruning, there's really no need to prune at all. And if you feel you need to, it's going to be right after they bloom.
Right after they're done blooming.
Yeah, with macrophyllus especially, you run the risk of damaging any of the blooms or buds that are going to come for the following year with these macrophyllus. Even though they bloom on new wood, some of that old wood is still going to provide some blooms.
If you must prune it, like, in the early in the season in spring, wait for it to completely
Yes.
fill itself out with leaves. The big sign will be, you see that those little, the stems that are bare, and then it's very safe for you to go ahead and cut those parts that are, the dead parts already.
Yep.
I think that's the safest
Yep.
way to do it too. But we like to do, if we must, we like to do it prune right after they're done blooming.
Definitely.
Okay, so
Save the last one for you.
blue Jangles. It's beautiful. I love it so much. It is just screaming out. I told Ambrose, I love pink, but I would literally have the whole garden filled with blue Jangles. The color,
Yeah.
my goodness, it is just gorgeous. We've had other blue hydrangeas, but this color is like, what would you say, electrifying? It's just such a blue that's just gorgeous. And some of the first blooms started coming out. It's still producing bloom, and I'm staring at it. I'm sorry that I'm looking that way, but I'm staring at it because some of the first blooms, that it has, they're really big, and it's supposed to give you that big bloom.
Yes.
And it's still, producing more blooms, and I'm hoping that they continue to get big. It's also a reblooming one, but we will be, showing you along the way that hydrangea too. So it's also a compact variety. It's reblooming.
Yeah.
Same thing as all the others.
Same
The
thing
lighting.
as the ones, blooms on old and new wood. The lighting's pretty much the same. I'm liking it more. I love the blue color, and the camera by far does no justice to the color. And I keep telling Angie that, like, I've tried editing the best I can. In the tour video, I edited the best I can to get that blue in there, but without sacrificing other colors, meaning our skin colors or anything else in the video. I can't get the perfect blue. And I'm going to try to do that just with the single photo so you guys can see the blue that it has, because it's beautiful. But what I'm liking is that blue color, and I'm liking the bloom. Angie said, they get big, but I'm noticing a lot more smaller clusters. And to me, I don't know why, that just attracts me more. It attracts my eye more to that shrub because you see the clusters of blue here and there.
It's just so
and I just love the
pretty.
way it looks. It's a beautiful hydrangea.
It's pretty. It's very compact, and that's something that we were looking for our garden because we don't have a lot of space. Sorry if we tire you guys with saying that, but I know, from the comments I see, a lot of you work also with small space gardening, or you just want to squeeze something in containers sometimes,
Yes.
if not in the ground. So these hydrangeas are perfect for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope we covered everything over the hydrangeas.
Yeah.
Big reasons, I think, to put it all together is why we go for these type of hydrangeas is better health,
Yes.
foliage, more reliable in blooming. What else? Like I said, the foliage is gorgeous. The color is just stunning, vibrant.
And that's the greatest thing about the macrophyllus is they go from one color to another with just a little bit of change in the soil. So whichever you
They're so
prefer.
much
That's,
fun.
it's a lot of fun. And again, the blooms are different.
We might play around with that.
We may play around with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But Macrophylla hydrangeas, I know, in the past, it's one of those hydrangeas where it's like, those are the ones you see everywhere, especially in big box stores. You see the big, you see these hydrangeas everywhere.
My grandma's garden, it was just something you had to have in the garden.
Yeah, but with the prune winners variety, like I said, is so much easier to grow. They're reblooming, very disease resistant, very healthy, and they just put on a show, and that's probably one of the reasons you know, why we have these in the garden, because they just look
Yeah.
beautiful in here.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to go ahead and share with all of y'all, because I know as we've been doing these tours, garden tours, we get asked that question a lot. How come they
Yes.
look so wonderful? We're giving them wonderful fertilizer as well. You know, Spoma Organic is amazing. The soil is amazing as well too. I don't know. We just try to make sure to treat them really well, and you know the variety is wonderful too. So
Yep.
they do their shining, you know, on their own.
So again, as always, guys, to stay up to date with everything that's going on in the garden, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. And I keep forgetting Twitter, but we are on Twitter now, and we have been posting, not as much, but we're posting on Twitter as well. So make sure you follow us on all those social media platforms to stay up to date with what's happening in the garden.
And I'll throw a pic here and there on the community. Sometimes I try to remember, you know, to just share with you all what's going on, you know, on the community posting on YouTube and on the stories as well. I forget the stories. So probably see more pictures on there too.
All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Leave a comment down below, because we love to read your comments, and we love to give feedback on questions that we get about the garden as well. It's just, that's what we're here for. That's why we're doing this, and we just absolutely love it. Share this video if you love this content, and that's pretty much going to do it for the video, guys.
Before we forget, don't want to forget, very important, everyone.
Yes.
Bloom where you are planted.